I'm Cynthia Rivera. I'm 85 years old. I saved $187,000 for my old age, and in 6 weeks, a nursing home took $92,000 of it. I wrote the check this morning. Let me tell you what happened, so maybe you can learn from my mistake. You see, I worked as a mechanic in South Bend for over 40 years. I raised 4 kids with my husband David, and now we have 11 grandkids. I was always the practical one, the one who saved. And I just got the final bill from my 6-week stay in a rehab facility after a fall. It's the final ugly proof of what I've been trying to ignore. My regret? I hoarded every penny for a rainy day that turned out to be a hurricane of medical bills. I let fear of future poverty steal the joy I could have had with my family. It cost me trips we never took, gifts I never gave, and the simple pleasure of being generous with the people I love while I was healthy enough to enjoy it with them. The system is built to take your savings at the end. You have to be smarter. Spend your money on life and memories while you're still you. To understand how I got here, you need to go back 3 months to my kitchen table in Springdale. It was a regular Tuesday. I was balancing my checkbook, a ritual I've done for 60 years. That number, $187,432, gave me a deep sense of pride, a deep sense of security. David was reading the paper. We'd raised 4 kids at this table, seen 11 grandkids come into the world. I felt like I'd done everything right. I was smug. I felt safe. That's when David, always the dreamer, looked up from his crossword. He said, "Cyn, what about an Alaskan cruise for our 60th? He even had a brochure. I could see the excitement in his eyes, the same look he had when he proposed. And I shut it down, just like that. I said, what if one of us needs long-term care? We have to be responsible. The light just went out of him. You know that feeling? When you see a spark die in someone you love? He nodded. He folded that brochure right into his newspaper, and he never mentioned it again. I felt regretful, but I pushed it down. I told myself I was the strong one, the sensible one. That was the first brick in my wall of responsibility. The second came just 2 weeks later with my granddaughter Sophia. She's my artistic one. She got accepted to a prestigious summer art program in Chicago. It cost $3,000. Her parents couldn't swing it all. She called me, her voice bubbling over with this pure joy. But she never asked for a dime, not 1 cent. She knew her frugal abuela. I told her I was so proud. I told her she'd find a way. I had the money, right there in that checkbook. I could have written a check and been part of that dream. I could have fueled that spark. I chose the bank balance instead. It made me sad, but I buried it. I told myself I was being wise, protecting us. Then a month later, the rainy day I'd saved for arrived, and it had a concrete floor. I was in my garage for heaven's sake, where I'd worked my whole life. I was looking for a specific quilting square. I slipped on an old oil spot I'd missed. I heard the crack, before I felt the pain, my hip. The ambulance ride is a blur of sirens and shame. A mechanic brought down by her own garage. I was terrified. Surgery, pins, plates. Then they told me I couldn't go home yet. I needed rehab. They called it a skilled nursing facility. They said it wasn't a nursing home. But when the van pulled up, it sure looked like one. The place was clean, but it smelled like bleach and boiled vegetables. My roommate cried for her cat every night. My independence, the thing I'd built my life on as a woman in a mechanic shop, was gone. I needed help for everything. The worst part was the disorientation. The days bled together. Pain, therapy, waiting for David. I felt powerless. David came every single day. God bless him. He never missed one. And every few days, he'd bring a new envelope. His face got grayer each time. The bills. They weren't one bill. They were a paper avalanche. A charge for physical therapy, $285. A medication management fee, $120. A facility fee for the room itself, $450 a day. David would hand them to me, his hands trembling slightly. We didn't talk about the numbers. We just stared at them, watching the life we'd saved for get itemized and consumed. I was angry, so angry. But at who? At the system? At myself? After 42 days, they said I could go home. I was so relieved. But the final accounting was waiting for me on my kitchen table. Same table 3 months later. David put the final summary statement in front of me. The total, $92,154.67. I traced the number with my finger. I looked from that paper to David, sitting quietly, just like the day he suggested the cruise. And it all crashed down on me. I hadn't saved us from a catastrophe. I'd let the fear of one steal our joy every single day. The cruise we didn't take, the spark in Sophia's eyes I didn't help fuel. I felt shattered. This morning, I filled out the check, $92,154.67. I signed my name, Cynthia Rivera. It wasn't for a cruise ship or an art studio. It was for a room that smelled of bleach and a bed that wasn't mine. I mailed it. Half my life's careful saving, gone in 6 weeks to a system built to harvest savings. I feel resigned, but also I finally understand. So I understand that money is a tool for living, not just for surviving. That being responsible doesn't mean letting your world shrink down to a number in a ledger, a number that's just a target for the end. I was so busy building a fortress against some future storm that I forgot to live in the sunshine. You see, I'm a mechanic. I know tools. A wrench isn't meant to be polished and put on a shelf. It's meant to turn bolts, to fix things, to build. I treated my savings like a museum piece. I should have been using it. Here is my specific mechanic's advice for you. Get out a wrench and adjust your thinking. Do the math right now. Find out what a month in a place like that costs in your area. For me in South Bend, it was about $450 a day. That's the number. It's ugly, but it's real. Set that aside if it makes you feel safe. Put it in a separate account. Call it your "oh hell" fund. Then, for God's sake, spend the rest. Don't just look at it, use it. Take the Alaskan cruise. Pay for your grandkids' program. Buy the ridiculous fishing boat you've always wanted. You know I love to fish, always have. I could have had a little boat on the St. Joe River years ago. Renovate your kitchen. Make the memory now, while you're still you, while you can still feel the deck under your feet or see the pride in their eyes. Maybe you're my age and you're thinking, "Cynthia, it's too late for me. The money's already gone, or I'm too scared to touch it." Listen to me. It's not too late. You can't get the big chunk back. I know that. I can't get my $92,000 back. That check is cashed. But you can start spending the life you save for, right this minute. You don't need a cruise ship. Start smaller. Take your David or your Sophia out for a fantastic dinner tonight. Not at the diner you always go to. Someplace with cloth napkins. Order the steak. Have the dessert. Look at them across the table and feel the joy of providing that moment. Write a check tomorrow, but not for a bill, for a dream. One of my other grandkids, Mateo, he's into Tai Chi like me. He mentioned a weekend workshop in Indianapolis. It's $250. I'm writing that check after I finish talking to you. I'm going to call him and tell him it's done. I'm going to hear that surprise and happiness in his voice, and I'm going to be part of it. Be generous with your time, your love, and yes, your money, while you're still here to enjoy the giving. That's the part I missed. I thought giving it away meant losing it. But giving it to my family for their joy, that's not losing it. That's planting it. That money spent on Sophia's art or David's cruise doesn't disappear. It turns into a story they tell. It turns into a painting she makes. It turns into the way David would have smiled watching a glacier calve. I traded all of that for a line item on a nursing home bill, a facility fee. Don't let the nursing home take it all. Spend it while you can. Be smarter than I was. The system is waiting for that savings. It's designed to consume it. So you have to outrun it. You have to spend it on life first. I'm Cynthia Rivera. I'm 85. I was a mechanic for 40 years. I can still fix a carburetor in my mind. I can still show you how to quilt a straight line. I can still do my Tai Chi forms, slower now, but I remember. That's who I am, not the number in my bank account. That's the only balance that matters, who you are, and the love you put into the world while you're still in it. So start tonight. Honestly, just start. Call someone you love. Make a plan. Write the check. Don't wait for the rainy day, because when it comes, it won't ask your permission. It'll just take everything and leave you with the receipts. So start tonight. Honestly, just start. Call someone you love. Make a plan. Write the check. Don't wait for the rainy day, because when it comes, it won't ask your permission. It'll just take everything and leave you with the receipts. And here's the thing about those receipts. They don't just show what you paid, they show what you didn't. I was sitting there at the table after I mailed that check, just staring at the carbon copy. David had gone out to the garden to give me space, I think. The house was so quiet. It's never quiet. There are always kids or grandkids calling, or the TV on, or me tinkering with something in the garage. But right then, it was silent. And in that silence, it all came back. Not as a thought, but as a feeling, a physical ache. I remembered the exact shade of blue in the brochure for that Alaskan cruise. It was the color of a deep, cold lake. David's finger had been tracing the route on the map. He'd said, "We could see glaciers, Sin, real ones." I could have seen that wonder on his face. Instead, I saw it fade. I traded that for a line item. Room and board, semi-private, day 14, $450. I thought about Sophia. She sent me a picture from that Chicago program, finally. She did find a way. She worked 2 jobs all spring, and her parents took out a small loan. In the picture, she's standing in front of a huge, messy canvas she painted, covered in these wild, joyful colors. She's beaming, and I felt so proud of her. And then I felt so small, because my signature wasn't on that dream. It was on a check for a physical therapy evaluation, $285. I helped pay for a stranger to lift my leg. I didn't help lift my granddaughter into her future. That's when I broke. I put my head down on that kitchen table, on the same oilcloth we've had for 20 years, and I cried. I'm not a crier. I'm a mechanic. I fix things. But you can't fix this. You can't get time back. I cried for the trips we never took. I cried for the help I never gave. I cried because I was so busy being afraid of losing our money that I lost the moments the money was for. David came in from the garden. He didn't say anything. He just pulled a chair up beside me and put his hand on my back. He's got gardener's hands, rough and stained with earth. He left them there, warm and solid, while I shook. When I finally got my breath, I looked at him. His eyes were tired, but they were soft. I'm so sorry, David, I said. My voice was all cracked. I'm so sorry about the cruise, about everything. He just nodded. He took my hand. I know, he said, but we're here. We're still here. And that was the worst part, in a way, his kindness. He wasn't angry. He'd just accepted it. He'd accepted my no all those months ago as the final word. He'd folded up his dream and put it away because I, the practical one, said we couldn't. I had taken my role as the protector of our security and used it like a weapon against our joy. And he'd let me because he trusted me. I felt so stupid. All that pride I felt balancing my checkbook, that smug security, it was a trap. I'd built the perfect cage for our golden years, and I was the one who locked the door. The nursing home didn't just take my money. It exposed the lie I'd been telling myself for decades, that the money itself was the safety. The safety was in the living. The safety was in the memories that no institution can ever bill you for. I thought about my own parents. They died with nothing, but they had a photo album full of pictures from picnics and county fairs, and a trip once to Niagara Falls. That was their estate. And I'd look down on that just a little. I thought I was being smarter. I had a spreadsheet. They had a photo album. And now I'd give every penny I have left for a photo of me and David on the deck of a ship with a glacier behind us. That's the realization. That's the bottom. It's not about the money being gone. It's about what you traded for it. And you don't know what you've traded until it's too late to buy it back. I traded David's dream of glaciers for the fear of bedpans. I traded Sophia's dream of an art studio for the fear of running out. I was so afraid of the storm that I never planted any flowers. I just built a bigger, emptier barn. David helped me up. "Come on," he said. "Let's go for a drive, just a drive." We didn't go far, just down to the St. Joe River. We sat on a bench and watched the water. I told him about wanting to write the check for Mateo's Tai Chi workshop. He smiled, a real one. "Do it," he said. "Call him right now." But I didn't, not yet. I needed to sit in this feeling for a minute, this broken, clear-eyed feeling. Because this is the part they don't tell you about. The cost isn't just the number on the bill. The cost is the silence where the laughter should have been. It's the empty space on the wall where Sophia's painting from Chicago could have hung. It's the look in your husband's eyes that you chose not to see because you were too busy looking at a bank statement. The system got its money. It took its $92,000. But I was the one who gave it all the ammunition. I saved it up in neat, fearful stacks and handed it over. The system got its money. It took its $92,000. But I was the one who gave it all the ammunition. I saved it up in neat, fearful stacks and handed it over. Here's what I learned sitting on that bench by the river with David. I learned that security isn't a number. It's a feeling. And for 40 years, I got it backwards. I thought the number created the feeling. But the feeling, the real security, comes from the life you build with it. It comes from knowing you've seen the glaciers. It comes from knowing you helped your granddaughter paint her wild, joyful canvas. That's the safety net. Those memories, those bonds, that love. No nursing home can invoice you for those. They can't take them. I had $187,000 and I felt poor. I could have had half that and a heart full of pictures of David smiling in the Alaskan air, and I would have felt like the richest woman in Indiana. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I treated my family's joy like a luxury I couldn't afford, when it was the whole point of the saving. The money was the tool, the living was the job, and I left the tool in the box. So here is my direct mechanics advice. Get your financial house in order, yes, be smart, but define what smart is. Smart isn't dying with a perfect bank statement. Smart is dying with a story your grandkids tell about the time you did something wonderful and a little reckless for them. Do the ugly math. Know what a month of rehab costs. Put that scary amount away if you must. Label it. Then look at what's left. That's not your old age money. That's your right now money. That's your life money. Spend it on the things that make you, you. For me, that's fishing. I love the quiet of the river. I could have bought a little boat years ago. David and I could have spent 1,000 afternoons out there. That's a real asset. Spend it on the people who make your heart full. For me, that's Sophia and Mateo and all 11 of those noisy, wonderful grandkids. A check for a dream is an investment that pays a dividend every time you see their face. Spend it on your partner. For me, that's David. His dream was a cruise. It wasn't extravagant. It was a wish to see something beautiful with me. That's a bill worth paying. Maybe you're listening and you're my age, and you're thinking the ship has sailed. It hasn't. It really hasn't. You can't get back the big chunk, no. But you can start the new math today, right now. You don't need a cruise. You need a connection. Take the love of your life out for a steak dinner tonight. I mean it. Call your grandchild and ask, what's a dream you have that $500 would help with? Then send it. No strings. Just watch what happens. The joy you get from that giving, while you're still here to witness it, is a currency they can't tax and a facility can't take. I have hope now. A different kind. It's not hope that I'll get my money back. It's hope that I can stop the bleeding of joy. I'm writing that check for Mateo's Tai Chi workshop today. David and I are looking at a different brochure now for a long weekend up in Mackinac Island. It's not Alaska, but it's a ferry ride and fudge and holding his hand on a deck. We're going. And the money it costs? I'm calling it insurance. Insurance against another day of regret. This channel, from what I understand, is for stories like mine, for people who've lived a long time and learned a hard lesson, so maybe you don't have to. If what I've said today hit home for you, if you felt that fear of the future starting to steal the present, then I'd consider it a personal favor if you'd subscribe. Hit that notification bell. There are more stories here from people who've been through other things, and we all just want to pass on a little wisdom so it doesn't go to waste. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me, what's one thing you've been putting off that you could do for yourself or someone you love this month? Just name it. Saying it out loud is the first step. And if this story made you think of someone, hit that share button. Send it to your brother, your sister, your best friend who's talking about their 401k more than their bucket list. Maybe you have a story of your own, a lesson you learned the hard way about love or family or time. There's a link in the description where you can tell the folks who run this channel about it. Your story might be the one that saves someone else from a kitchen table regret like mine. A book that helped me start to see this differently is called Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. It's not a cheery read, but it's an honest one about what matters at the end. There's a link for that below too, if you're interested. Don't let the nursing home take it all. Outrun the system. Spend your life while you're still living it. Be generous with your time, your love, and yes, your money, while you can still see the results. I'm Cynthia Rivera. I'm 85. I was a mechanic. I can fix most things, but I can't fix missed time. You still can. Start tonight.